So it sounds good,
Just, dude, do this.
but I'm about to open this. It needs to be.
Well, then we'll move it.
Oh, it sounds
Hold
good.
on. Can you hear this shit? Look. Listen to this. This is a woman rapping. Yo, I would back up this bad bitch any day. I'd be her hype man. Look, I'll be your boyfriend, Megan.
I'm at the top of my game. I'm who they hate. This shit comes a thing. That's how I knew that I made it. I woke up looking this good. I'm in my prime. These niggas gotta get played. If these bitches ain't mad, I need to go harder. I can't let them think we the same. Ass sitting up like a horse, just put it like a portrait. Mouth full of diamonds and porcelain.
So what's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory is actually a nightmare. In my nightmare, there was a snake in my bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I freaked out, went and told my mom and my stepdad. I was like, hey, there's a snake in my bed. And so here's the thing about it, like that wasn't like a complete impossibility. So they really did like come and check it out. They said, what kind of snake was it? I said, well, it had like a big hood, like a king cobra. And as soon as I said it was a king cobra, like, okay, that was a nightmare because there's no king cobras around here. But that was my earliest memory.
Huh. What made you afraid of the snake?
You know, I feel like it was like an innate thing. Number one, it was in my dream, it was just surprising. You know what I mean? I just was used to going to bed and there not being a snake there, and then when there was this gigantic snake in there, I was rather alarmed. What are your thoughts on snakes? Are you afraid of snakes?
Snakes don't hurt anybody. They like eat mice and stuff. And if you really want to kill a snake, they don't like being threatened. They're kind of big pussies. I mean, my brother used to kill rattlesnakes and copperheads and shit all the time. I killed a 7-foot rattlesnake in the neighborhood, like when I was dishing network or running over his ass. And I didn't mean to, but like I had to because he was where he didn't belong. And like
You gotta handle that.
yeah, you just gotta handle that. And I'm hope he didn't suffer. He just, you know, sorry.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but that's okay. So, you ever look at Egyptian art? They have a snake coming off the crown, like third eye.
I wish I knew what you were talking about, but I'm rather
Just
ignorant.
look it up one time. It's all across Egyptian art.
Okay. What's it mean?
Well, a lot of people think that mankind was made engineered, and we're made in the image of angels or gods, but we also are reptilians.
So I was walking by a store and I was called back to the store, and you handed me this right here. Why'd you hand me this?
$10, because God told me to.
Okay. Why do you think he said that?
Why do you think he said that?
Yeah, why?
Show his appreciation.
Okay. Well,
Again, like I just want to say, like, I know you've been going through a tough time and you've been tired, and maybe I have been redundant in interviews. It's just,
well, you know what the thing about it is, like, I definitely would, this is definitely like the least amount of money I've ever had in my quote-unquote career. But I mean, I've certainly had opportunities to earn. I've really just been, what I've really been is obsessed. I wouldn't even say I'm having a hard time so much as I am obsessed with what I'm doing. And I'm willing to be broke and judged and have no money as long as I'm as long as I'm in pursuit of what I want to do. And I'm making substantial progress on, you know, what I want to do. So
yeah, and you deserve to be supported.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
You also complimented me too. So you said you value my skills as an interviewer. So I think that was a pretty cool compliment.
Yeah. I think I think Joe Rogan's really good. I think what he brings to the table is he's just a genuine guy, but he's a fucking fighter. He had to work to get to be a really good interviewer. You're a natural. You're a better interviewer than Joe Rogan. You just don't have this audience.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan too, to be honest.
Yeah. I just like the guests he has, and I love Joe and his insights. But you can tell like Joe talks to smart people, and Joe's smart, but he ain't quite an intellectual. He's just a curious person and down to earth guy, and he just wants to have decent conversations, and I respect that. You know, he's kind of like a jock. He's like You know, I played sports a little bit, but I'm not really a jock.
So you think I could be as good as Joe Rogan one day?
No, I think you're already better interviewer than Joe Rogan.
I'm better than Joe Rogan. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Maybe one day I'll have his kind of audience.
You don't leave many awkward pauses unless you're tired, and then you're like, sometimes you'll say, you'll lose focus on what we're talking about, and then you'll like,
Well-
oh, did you hear about this? And it kind of, I do that too. I like go all over the place. It's hard to stay on topic, but that's from being tired.
Well, you know what? The thing about it is, like, most people have awkward pauses because they're afraid of a pause or afraid of silence. I don't.
Well,
You know, and can I actually? I want to talk about how I approach people, and I think this is a reason why it goes pretty well. So when I approach people, I would get more people would say yes if I already had my mics out and I was just ready to go and sit down. Say, hey, would you like to interview? Sometimes they said yes, and I could get started in 30 seconds. And I thought that was the way I was going to do it forever. But what I realized is that the conversations were better if they would wait 2 or 3 minutes for me to set up my microphones. So I go up there with no microphone. I say, hey, would you like to be a guest on my podcast? And if they ask about it, I say, well, look, it took me about like 3 or 4 minutes to set up my microphones. I could talk to you about it while I set it up. Is that okay? And more people say, no, I don't have 3 minutes to wait for you to set up a microphone. You should have been ready. I hear that all the time. But
What?
the people that are willing to wait 3 minutes for me to set up my microphone, they usually give me better conversation.
yeah, because they're patient.
So that's the way that I'm going now.
And beer.
Yeah, this is a cool lighter. Yeah, how'd you get this thing to light? Holy crap.
I don't know. It's a Cancer ladder. I'm a Cancer Sun, Aries Moon rising.
You're a Libra?
I got some Libra in my chart.
Yeah, it says Libra. I'm a Libra. According. You know, here's the thing.
I thought I got the Cancer. Shit. Okay, I got Libra. That's fine.
You know, if anybody ever asks me about a star sign, I don't take them seriously unless they can look at the sky and tell me which way is north. Like, I'm pretty skeptical about all the star signs and stuff, but if you can't look at the sky and tell me which way is north, don't tell me about a star sign.
Why? Because who cares? Like, you can read about it. It's been studied.
Because if people are taking star signs seriously, but they don't know how to, like, I would say if they can't identify the Big Dipper and the Orion's Belt and then find Polaris and then tell me which way is north, I feel like it's all just bullshit.
Well, I mean, we live along light pollution. I mean, you have to go out in the country to really see these things.
I mean, but there's people that hold up, like, that believe star signs are like their guiding principle in, like, their dating life and knowing someone's aura, all this bullshit, but they can't tell me which way is north. I think I just can't take them seriously.
Well, they're not going to be park rangers. That's not a crime, though. Like, I don't know how to map out the stars. I know what the constellations look like. I don't know every single one, but I know the major ones. But I've never been in a place where you could actually go outside and sit with someone with a microscope or have an elder point out to you, this is different constellations. That's I mean, I know what the morning star is Venus. I see it.
We should talk about it right now. Do you want to learn how to find north and how to navigate by the stars? I can teach you right now.
No, actually, I want to talk to you about what you're passionate about. Unless you're really passionate about finding north, but I mean,
That was hilarious.
okay.
Do you want to hold the mic, or we could just put it down, to be honest, but it's cool.
I'll hold it.
I like it like this.
I just
Yeah.
got out of jail last night.
Okay.
was-
Last night?
Yeah.
Why were you locked up, bro?
Trespassing. I went to Cafe Stella in Ghent at 7:30 on Saturday morning, and they called the cops, and the cops came, and I signed paperwork saying I'm banned from there, but I forgot because I'm manic. So I went back there later, and the same thing happened, and then the cops had to arrest me.
Like, there's so much room for improvement in, like, our police department and stuff like that.
All the police know, like, me around here. They know I'm a nice guy. I don't cause trouble. I don't hurt anybody. They just, they have to arrest me for certain things. I did get arrested like a couple weeks ago for some bullshit. And I got my trial of not guilty. I was just holding a knife at Waterside, and they charged me with disorderly conduct. they said they had a witness to say I was waving the knife around, which I wasn't. That was bullshit. I was holding a knife. The knife was out, but I was holding the knife. I wasn't pointing it at anybody, and I was away from anybody, but I was rapping Eminem and holding that shit, and I was fucking going hard. But dude, like, that's I'm a protector. I was in the military.
You gotta ash that thing, bro. It's about to hop all over the airplanes.
Oh, bro, you need some clothes?
Do I need some clothes?
Yeah.
I mean, not really. I mean, most of my clothes got holes in them, but you know they're holding up.
Bro, after the interview, like, I got my stuff stashed.
You gonna get my denim right?
Huh?
You gonna get my denim right?
No, I got a nice hoodie. I think you might like.
Okay, what size is it? I'm Asian.
So me and you about the same size.
Weird. So okay, so you said you wanted to interview me about my passions. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
which you indicated was sign language.
Yeah. So I don't know. Have I covered any of that with you already?
You never done that. What they call it, ASL or
ASL.
yeah. I have a good friend. Her name is Day Hadaway, and she knows sign language, and she could read lips, and she's a sweetheart. She's she wasn't always deaf, but she's pretty much deaf right now.
Okay. So I mean, I would say my passion isn't like directly aligned with sign language. My passion is really just driven by curiosity. I'm just so interested in seeing what the world would look like if we all had the ability to communicate with each other at a global scale. Every single person, every single country.
Yeah.
I think it's just crazy that we don't have one singular word. We can't express any thought, nothing, together at a global scale, and we have every resource needed to resolve it. And sign language is just a piece of that puzzle that I'm including in that process.
Yeah, peace comes from understanding, and we rely on people to interpret what other people say for us. I think why you're passionate about this is
You gotta ask that, Rose.
I think why you're passionate about this is because you have a natural hunger for understanding. Like me, we're both open-minded individuals, and we often get accused of being know-it-all or narcissists, but we just like to share.
And honestly, like let people think that. If you think I'm a know-it-all, then great. You know what I mean? I'm essentially approaching all of this out of curiosity and honestly ignorance. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work out.
Well,
the likely result is that I'm gonna fail, and no one's ever gonna even take me seriously.
No, you're gonna do great. Look,
Maybe so. Hold on. So let me
I'm
back up, right?
I'm famous in Norfolk.
Let me back up. Right?
Okay.
So when it comes to communication and peace and all that, you know, I think that has been the initiative of a lot of people that have pursued a similar goal. But I'm not saying that, you know, solving global communication would create peace. I actually think it would cause a lot of turmoil. If everyone on Earth could just magically communicate overnight, I just think that there'd be so much hate being said back and forth between countries and people. I don't think it would create peace overnight for sure. But to me, I just think it is a foundational need for society that hasn't been met. I think that the ability to communicate outside of like the need to survive, like food, shelter, and water, there is no other need greater than being able to communicate, or you don't even have a society. So that's why I think that's the root of so many issues in the world right now.
Yeah. Imagine if you adopted a child and they can never learn your language and they would never know that you love them.
Well, imagine just having like a little village. Imagine like 1,000 years ago, so you had a little village, but nobody could communicate with each other. Like that's step one. You can't collaborate. You can't go out and organize hunts and figure out who is going to build the huts. That is like step one in building a society, and we don't have it met at a global scale. We have all these economies, and that's why we have.
There is a workaround. Body language is a form of communication. You can get messages across. You know, like you can look at someone and go like that, like
so,
someone doesn't speak your language.
So what I'm doing, so I think it's interesting that you noticed. I'm going to bring this thing out. You know what I mean? This is. What is it?
Or the book?
Yeah, so...
This man paid $200 for this shit. That's crazy.
So yeah, by the way, no wonder
you're broke.
No one on earth has ever seen this book. If you've never seen this book, this is a rare book that I got. I searched online for it for months, and someone finally in London had it, and it was for $200. I bought it the same day, and as soon as it delivered, he put another one up for $2,000 for one day. I tried to buy it for $2,000, and
You try to buy it twice?
yeah, because I wanted one that I could annotate, that I could write in, and then one to keep forever on my shelf.
Bro,
And he-
you're a madman.
Well, he took it down and said, "Look, I looked for this book for 20 years." He's like, "I'm not selling it even for $2,000." He's like, he asked, he's like, "Well, why? Why do you want this book?" And I believe they reference like the most overlooked observation in human history. Back
What is
in
that?
back in the 50s, you got to think like it was hard for people to have international meetings and stuff before the airplane and stuff. In the 50s they had airplanes, but it was really just getting commercialized in like the 70s. So back before the 50s, when international conferences started happening from all over the world, not just like 2 or 3 countries, but like 20 countries in a room together, there was just a horrific language barrier for people to try and get anything done. But the
Yeah.
deaf people from all of these countries, they were able to understand each other almost immediately. And that is an observation that the deaf people that were part of that realized. They're like, man, everyone that can speak can't communicate, but the deaf people can. And in this book, they reference that, this could just be a way to be a catalyst for global communication.
You ever think-
that could be a base. So
You ever think that that sign language is actually an ancient language?
well, I'm sure it was one of the first ways that we ever communicated, probably just by pointing at stuff at first.
Well, I don't think we were ever cavemen. I just think like we, well, I mean, some people believe in aliens and that some aliens communicate telepathically. They don't need language. I communicate with God, but He communicates to me through my subconscious. So I'm not consciously thinking about anything I'm saying anymore. I'm just speaking because I'm speaking for my soul. When you're speaking for your mind, it's really conjoint and janky, and there's like pauses, and you have to go, and you can't get a word across, and you can't like.
I think most people are too careful with their words, you know what I mean? And it's just less authentic. I think so many people.
Well, no, people have been taught that they're their mind, but you're not your mind.
I think you should be careful with your character and then let your words just flow freely. I think that's where. Wow, that sounded like a fucking quote.
Well, make sure that your words are preceded by a lot of thoughtfulness. Okay? Because if you're just running your mouth, you're just causing trouble. You have to be thoughtful. Like, don't speak on something that you know nothing about. Don't like talk to somebody like, oh, you belong in
And, like-
I've been in jail and they'd be making fun of this guy. He's like swaying and peeing like in the toilet and saying things.
There's a way to speak about things that you don't know anything about. You can converse about topics that you're ignorant about, but it always has to be like out of curiosity.
No, I'm tired
You
of
can't
that.
speak with authority.